Today's topic is, what is the leading cause of death in the U.S.?
The leading cause of death in the U.S. It might even surprise you.
I think it's really going to surprise you. And it's one of those topics that not everyone is talking about, but you know how we are. We like to talk about all different things about healthy, holistic care and what can we do? How can we be preventative? What choices can we make today?
Sure.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. So what we're going to do is there's going to be a lot of statistics today, so I'm not giving you information that I have in my head. It's going to be stuff I'm going to read to you. I want it to be as accurate as possible, and so I'm going to read statistical information to you, and some of it's going to be pretty shocking and jarring to you. The number of people that pass away from the number one cause every year should make everyone on here alarmed, and that's where we should really be focusing some of our energies. And they're focusing on other things at this point that really have little death rate, and it's inappropriate. So we're going to talk more about that right now. You ready?
I'm losing voice. Does that mean you can't hear us? Joan, can you give us a little thumbs up?
Are you losing your voice?
Or are we losing our voice? Can you give us a thumbs up if you can hear us? Or if you're losing your voice, I hope you're not losing your voice. Well, we're going to just move forward because we have lots to talk about today, and we like to keep our little recordings short. And so Dr. Rappy is going to do his disclaimer.
Here we go. The number one cause of death in the United States for men and women is, drum roll.
I don't do a good drum roll. You do. You do the drum
heart
roll.
Disease.
Heart
That's right.
disease.
If you were thinking heart disease, you were right. Heart disease, the leading cause of death for men and women and people of most racial and ethnic groups in the United States.
Yeah.
Now, why is heart disease important? Heart disease is not something you're born with. Heart disease is something you develop. So therefore, it's completely 100% preventable.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So anything that's preventable can be reversed.
Exactly. So for those of you who don't know us, who are watching this recording or watching us live, I'm Lori Rappy from Thrive Functional Wellness Center here in La Quinta, California. And
I'm Dr. Rappy from Thrive Functional Wellness Center here in La Quinta, California.
Yeah, and
we are the co-founders of Thrive Functional Wellness Center.
Yeah, so we're here in La Quinta in California, but we work with people everywhere. And so yeah, just like the doctor said, our topic today, what is the leading cause of death in the U.S.?
Heart disease.
Yeah, so we're going to kind of dive in a little bit about it.
So think of that heart disease as this. It's the top of the pyramid, and below that are all the things that are going to lead up to the heart disease. So that's what I want you to keep in mind. Or it's the iceberg in the water. Only 10% of it sticks above the water. That's the heart disease. And everything below it that's silently hiding in your body, happening over a period of time, is going to lead to that little bit sticking out of the water.
Yeah,
Again,
I love that analogy of that iceberg. Yeah.
Iceberg is fabulous. Heart disease is not something you're born with. It's something we develop over time. If we develop it, we can reverse it. And so it's really important to understand that. So let's give you some statistics. This is amazing. How long have we been on here? Does this thing tell us how long we've been on? Let's just say we've been on for, I'm going to say 4 minutes.
Okay.
4 minutes. So one person dies every 36 seconds in the United States from cardiovascular disease.
Wow.
So since we've been talking, at least 4 people have died.
Isn't that crazy?
4 people have died. Those were preventable. Those were reversible. Those were, you could literally take that person and give them their life back had you worked with them prior to this. So 1 in every 36 seconds. Every single year in the United States of America, this is amazing, 659,000 people in the United States die from heart disease every year. That's 1 out of every 4 deaths.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Completely preventable.
Completely preventable. And that's why I feel like we come on here to give you hope, to talk about things that we can actually do something about.
Yeah.
And we're going to connect all those dots. But those stats, that's pretty wild when you think about the heart disease. And I think we all know someone who has died of heart disease, who's struggling with heart disease issues. And there's something you can do about it.
So if you've been labeled by your doctor that you have heart disease, You have cardiovascular disease, and he just says, well, here's your pill, and that's it. There's things that can be done about it. The pharmaceutical company doesn't like to hear what I'm saying. They hate it. They want you to take their drugs.
Right.
Cardiovascular disease has developed over time. You're not born with it, and we can reverse it. It's being done all over the place. The key is the pharmaceutical companies don't want you to know about it. Okay. Again, 1 in 4 deaths.
Wow.
Every 1 in 4 deaths is from cardiovascular disease, completely preventable.
Completely preventable.
100%.
And again, part of why we're talking about this, especially this month, is yes, it's February. I have read on for all the love and the Valentine's Day and all that, but it's also American Heart Month.
American Heart Month.
This is the month where you can say, you know what, I'm going to do my part for myself, my family, my loved ones in preventing heart disease.
That's
let's talk a little bit about the coronary artery disease, and heart attacks. Can you tell us a little bit?
So coronary artery disease is the #1 disease that makes up heart disease and is killing people. So coronary heart disease is the most common type of heart disease, killing 361,000 people in 2019. So we've got overall cardiovascular disease or heart disease. And of there's some subcategories, and the one that's the leading subcategory is coronary heart disease. 361,000 people. Again, it's reversible. It's something that people acquire over time. And we'll get to the reasons how we develop this later on. Okay?
And so now Joan is saying if feet keeps going on and off, we're not seeing any issues. Debbie, can you give us a thumbs up? Can you see us? Because we're not showing any sort of feed issues. It might be your iPad, Joan.
Is Joan, are you down here or are you up north?
She's up north.
Oh, it must be that 49ers loss that's causing all that. I'm sorry. I really am. I am so sorry.
That's funny. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were talking about, sorry, I didn't
So coronary heart disease, we got disconnected. We're on to 49ers and all that. That's another talk.
That's a whole other talk.
Okay, about 18.2 million adults, get this, ages 20 and up have coronary artery disease.
Wow.
Again, let me say that.
Young.
18.2 million people from the age of 20 up. What is that telling you? From 20 down, they're not being taught what to do. They're not being given the information necessary to keep from developing. They're not doing all those things. Nobody's educating. Why? The pharmaceutical company doesn't want you to know this stuff. Let that kid get heart disease at 20. Think about that. If we're going to give this kid drugs from 20 to 80 before he dies, we make more money than if we wait until he's 50.
Wow.
So there's a lot there. These kids prior to 20 just have not been educated to the importance of heart health.
Right.
And that's what they need. And more education needs to be, more money needs to be spent on heart health, not drugs, on heart health. How do I prevent heart disease? What do I need to do to make my heart as healthy as possible?
And we're going to talk a little bit about that right at the end before we leave you guys. Wow.
So the last statistic is 2 in 10 deaths from coronary artery disease happens in adults less than age 65.
Wow.
So we've got that middle-aged group there that's really the problem. If you make it to 65 and you haven't died from a heart attack, you're less likely to than if you're age 30. Okay? That's a big statistic. Those are amazing numbers, you guys. Come on.
That's a lot of people. And again, for something that we can do something about that's preventative.
Correct. Absolutely.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about heart attacks.
So heart attacks in the United States of America, it says someone dies of a heart attack every 40 seconds.
Wow.
Every 40 seconds. Every year, about 800,000 people in the United States have heart attacks. Of these, 605,000 is their first heart attack. 200,000 is their second heart attack. Wow. I'll come back to that. And 1 in 5 heart attacks is what's called silent. So people that are viewing this, you may have had some chest pain and you're like, oh, and then it went away. You might have had a heart attack and not known it. I've known a number of people that had some issues, and then 6 or 8 months later, they finally go in to see a doctor, and the doctor says, your enzymes are up on the blood test, man, and we think you had a heart attack. And they'll send it from some specialized testing, and so, lo and behold, they had a silent heart attack, which makes them more susceptible to another heart attack.
Right.
In that interventionary period, it is really important to educate these people and get them on the right path and bring them back to a healthy heart status.
Exactly.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yes. So we definitely, are there more stats that you want to share about the heart attack?
I think that's good. Heart
think
attacks.
you guys
silent
get the
heart
picture.
attack. Everybody should know that. Yes, you can have a silent heart attack.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
scary stuff. So we want to talk about some of the top conditions, life choices that can lead to heart attacks, heart disease. Right. So let's kind of go through what those are. Okay?
So as we stated earlier, heart disease is developed. You're not born with it. They don't put your foot in the ink and give it on the pad and go, there's your little footprint. And oh, by the way, your son or daughter's got heart disease.
Right.
Now there's the occasional genetic issue with their heart, and we see things like that happen occasionally. But again, heart disease is developed, and we just showed you a statistics where between the age of 20 and 65 is where it can be get to a place where it can cause problems. So it's really important to understand heart disease is developed, which means lifestyle choices.
Right. So the good news about that is you can control your lifestyle choices. You can, with the right direction, the right support, the right guidance, which is what we do, and we always talk about that. So let's talk very specifically about certain conditions and lifestyle choices that can lead to heart disease. And number one is having high blood pressure.
High blood pressure.
We need to take this seriously. We see so many people that are on medication for high blood pressure, and they're just okay with the medication piece of it, where there's things that you can do about it. Right.
My biggest thing is when we see these people come into us, and sometimes they're young, and I see on their list they're taking high blood pressure meds, and I'm like, okay, what's it for? And they say, I don't know. He told me I need to take it.
Right.
So how many of these people could, with lifestyle changes and appropriate coaching and appropriate education, could literally turn this around and get off their high blood pressure medications?
Right.
You see, the medical model doesn't teach that. The medical model says, take this pill for the rest of your life, and they just go, cha-ching, there's another one.
Yeah.
So things that can lead up to having high blood pressure, a lot of different things. You're going to see what we're going to talk about. They're all, what's the word? They're all
like stepping stones.
They're commingled. They happen synergistically and together. So high blood pressure. If you're on a high blood pressure medication, maybe it's because your kidneys are challenged, right? They don't want you to have kidney problems, so they're going to use a high blood pressure medication to take the pressure off your kidneys. The next one on the list is a big one.
Smoking.
The Marlboro Man, right? Smoking is big. Now, I don't know, I didn't look up the statistics to see if smoking has become more common amongst young people or less, but these electronic smoking pens that kids use that have nicotine oil, I read something somewhere they talked about it's rather than smoke a pack of cigarettes, one of these little containers full of little cartridges, it's like 4 packs of cigarettes. It's really hard. It's worse than cigarettes.
Wow.
It doesn't have the carcinogens in there. They're cleaner and all that, but they get addicted to the nicotine. But that smoking leads to hardening of the arteries and all kinds of other problems internally. We'll call them physiological changes and or anatomical changes and or metabolic issues. And so it leads to other things.
Right.
So all of these things are commingled.
Right. Okay, this one's a big one. Diabetes.
Diabetes.
We've done entire
diabetes
Facebook Lives just on the diabetes and being pre-diabetic, having insulin resistance. There's all the levels to getting there. And
And I've never, I should say we've never had a client, and I personally have never had a client in 30 years that came to me and said, oh, by the way, my doctor says I'm pre-diabetic. And I said to him, what are they doing for it? And they said, nothing. I said, you're kidding me. Your doctor said you have pre-diabetes, but he didn't give you any instructions how to get out of that, how to reverse that, how to eliminate that? No. Why? They're waiting for you to hit the magic number of full-blown diabetes so they can give you a pill. Right?
Waiting for you to fall off the cliff.
You got to get to crisis mode so they can write that prescription. So pre-diabetes, in my opinion, is worse because that's when we can really reverse it. There's some effort that goes into reversing regular diabetes, type 2, but if you can nip it in the butt early, and that's really the goal, is identify early, take care of it early, reverse it early, and live a happy life and be healthy.
And I have to tell you, the diabetics, the type 2 diabetics that we've worked with over the years in our wellness program have had fabulous results.
Yes.
It's amazing. People get really into this mindset that I'm a diabetic for the rest of my life. There's actually something that you can do about it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So now the next one, again, kind of coincides, overweight and being obese. Huge risk factor for heart disease.
Let's take a look at that. Overweight, obese, and being overweight. Connection to diabetes? Absolutely. How is that? Diabetes is an insulin problem or an insulin resistance problem. So when I have insulin issues and I can't metabolize sugar and my sugar levels go up, what does insulin do? When it's dumped out of your pancreas, it tells your body to store fat. So it does what? It makes you overweight. It makes you obese.
Right.
Now, when I'm overweight and obese, there's a lot of work my heart has to do to pump blood into the tissues. So what happens? My blood pressure does what? It goes up. Now I'm on a blood pressure pill. You see?
See how it all works together. It's crazy.
It's interesting to watch how these things all amass. The key for us is we see insulin resistance is the root cause of a lot of the underlying conditions out there that people aren't paying attention to.
And there's something you can do
And there's something you can do about it. You have absolute control. This isn't like, oop, you got your finger cut off, no more finger, oh, it's gone. That's not how this works. This is allowing you in your controlled environment, which is yourself and your body, to really take charge and make the changes necessary to control what's going on. It's really important.
Exactly. And we have 3 more. I'm actually going to kind of say them together because they kind of go together. So unhealthy diet, being inactive, having no physical activity, and excessive alcohol use. And I'd like to comment about the excessive alcohol use because I would say during COVID, some of the top things that we are seeing with people that we've been working with, the level of anxiety has gone up a lot, and the amount of alcohol usage that people have been using to numb themselves at night,
self-medicate,
has really become excessive. And so people working with us, and we can help with the healthy diets, with the activity, with the idea of, okay, there's a time and a place for a glass of wine, not 4 every night. So, and what's amazing is all of these choices that we make, and we talk about this all the time, what we can control, what we can't control. I talk about it all the time. I have posts everywhere about that. We have to just focus on what we can control. And all these things that we're talking about, we can do something about. Now, I know a lot of people have tried doing things on their own as well, especially during COVID. And we're here to say, we are here to support you. This is where you need professionals that have done this and run your blood work, identify what's going on, and then we can customize different programs for you to help you get better and help you reduce your risk for heart disease.
Yeah, we want to resolve these and reduce our risk. We don't want to be that 1 out of every 4 deaths. We don't want to be a statistic, a heart attack statistic. No. Remember, heart disease is developed. That gives you the opportunity to not only reverse what you might have in most cases. Disclaimer, there's always someone that's at a point where there isn't reversing it. But keeping it from getting worse would be important. But you are in control. You can change your life by making better choices. You just need someone to help you understand, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? And what's my long-term benefit? And that's what we do for people. That's what we do.
Yeah, so I don't know if you were surprised by the answering the question, what's the leading cause of death in the US? Because I think people are thinking other things. But heart disease, let's do something about it. Let's come together as a community, our family, our friends, our loved ones, and say, look, I see the choices that you're making. You are these many steps away from heart disease, and I don't want that for you. It's time to do something. We're always talking, we've really, the last couple of months, especially in our lives, have been talking about listening to our bodies, connecting to our bodies, and listening to the symptoms and what's happening and not accepting how we feel. Because these things usually start off really little.
Yeah.
And your body just starts to give you little signs, but we just go, nah.
That's nothing.
But if
My
we
pants
do
don't
something,
fit. I gained 30 pounds. It's nothing.
not a big deal.
Nah.
Meanwhile,
As you
there's-
pull into McDonald's for a Big Mac. Matter of fact, I love this one. I'll take a Big Mac and fries, but give me a Diet Coke.
And you know, when we're talking about food too, I know that a lot of people with the new year are starting to increase their exercise and their movement, which is fantastic.
Wonderful.
But I love that saying that you can't out-exercise a bad diet, bad lifestyle. It's it's everything. And with functional medicine, at least the program that we offer, we look at all of it. We look at your nutrition, we look at your exercise, we look at your stress management, we look at your hormone imbalances, and we look at all of it because your body just functions together.
You're one unit.
Yes.
You're
yes.
not separate organ systems.
No.
You're a human being.
Yes. Yes, we are. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
This, I know, talking about anything that's a leading cause of death, it's
Right.
not something that should make all of us smile. What makes me smile, what makes both of us smile, is knowing there's hope.
Hope.
There's solutions. There's things that you can do
Correct.
about it. And we're going to be talking about that stuff all month. It is American Heart Health Month, American Heart Month. Next week, join us because we're coming live from my kitchen. I'm making a special paleo yummy treat. Never made it before. It's going to be delicious, something that you can serve for Valentine's Day or actually any time of year. It's a paleo cookie dough. It's going to be delicious.
Cookie dough. Delicious.
So, after that, we're going to be talking. It's our 1 year anniversary.
It's fantastic.
It's
1 year.
Doing our Facebook Lives.
Yep.
And then we're going to be doing a deep dive into cholesterol.
Cholesterol.
So
the boogeyman.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Yep.
If you have a topic you'd love to hear us talk about, send us a message, an email. We're here. We want to give you hope. We want to give you hope that you don't have to settle for how you feel.
Nope.
There's options out there.
Yep.
And look at our Facebook, our YouTube channel, all of that. So thank you for joining us.
And just remember, you are in charge of your future.
Yes.
So if you want your future to be happy and healthy and full of wonderful moments with your spouse, your grandkids, your friends, your neighbors, your girlfriends, whatever, you make the choice. If you don't, then make the bad choices and keep doing what you're doing. Okay?
Right.
Very simple. You are in control.
Every
Simple as
day,
that. Every day.
we make choices that support the healing part of our body, or we make choices that support the disease
Correct.
part of our body.
Simple as that.
It's that simple. So let's make better choices.
God bless
together.
everybody. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for watching us. Have a great
Bye.
night. Bye.